haven't filmed a video in so long, I don't know how to do this anymore.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Oh my god, why am I so nervous? Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, if there's even anybody still watching. I have not filmed a video in at least maybe like 5 years. I have always been like a really big reader. I've always loved books growing up. That's all I did was read. But pretty much from the time that I graduated high school, I kind of fell off of books and I had a really hard time trying new books. So I was still reading in my young adulthood phase, but I was kind of just rereading the same books over and over again, like Harry Potter and Twilight and The Hunger Games. I was rereading those over and over again for years. So in 2022, I really branched out. I tried a bunch of new books in 2022. I read 62 books, and most of them, the vast majority of them, were new books. So I really branched out and challenged myself that year, and I loved it. And I want to keep going in 2023. So today's video is going to be books that I am the most excited to read in 2023. This video is mainly to kind of hold myself accountable, because if it's out there, maybe I'll do a better job at doing it. I don't know. I'm really bad at procrastinating. So with me, I have a small collection of books that I bought sporadically throughout 2022 that I just never got around to reading. So I'm gonna hold myself accountable and read them this year. There are a lot of series that I want to start this year, and one of the first series that I want to start is the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson. Heard a lot of good things about this series. I bought the first book at Barnes & Noble one time just on a whim, and I kept meaning to buy the rest of the books before I read it, just because I know how bad that is to like read a book and then you get so into it and then you either have to wait for the next one to come out or buy it, and I don't want that to happen. So I've been trying to just get them, but every time I go to Barnes & Noble they do not have the second one. So I don't know, I'm debating about just starting it and kind of just seeing what happens. Maybe I'll borrow it from the online digital library or something, I don't know. But I want to start this series this year. The next series that I want to start this year is the Crave series. Everyone has been calling this like a Twilight knockoff. I don't know, I've never read it. It does kind of look like Twilight though. I just got this book for Christmas this past year, so I guess I don't really have an excuse not to read it anymore. And I think, if I'm correct, most, if not all, of the books are on Kindle Unlimited, so maybe I can finish reading them through there. But yeah, I want to read this one this year. Heard conflicting things about it, but I love vampires. The next series I want to read this year, it's not really a series, it's more of a duology as far as I know, is Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves. Well, I told you I was going to be filming. Love you. Okay, good luck. Love you. Okay, maybe now I can tell you what the next series is. I keep getting interrupted. I am sorry. Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves. I recently just bought these books literally at the beginning of the year. My partner and I went to a really big Barnes & Noble for our anniversary, and I bought these there. And I'm excited to read them. I've heard a lot of good things. I've heard that they're like a fantasy romance type thing. I don't really know, but heard a lot of good things, and I am excited to read them. So I'm hoping that I'll read these sooner than later, because I don't even know why I'm so excited to read these. I just really want to. I don't know. The next series on my list is extremely popular. Everybody is talking about it, and everybody that I know personally who has read this series is obsessed with it. So I'm hoping that means good things. I have not delved that much into fantasy So this is going to be a little out of my comfort zone. The series is the ACOTAR series. Everyone is talking about it. I have a friend who read this series and she's obsessed with it. And she keeps telling me that I need to read it, so she has someone to talk about it with. And my partner just read it. He read the first one, and he's on the second one right now. So even he's telling me that I need to read it because it's really good. So don't know what I'm getting myself into. I just know it's really popular. Many people told me to read it. So I'm going to hold myself accountable and at least try to start it this year. Well, I have the whole year, so I am going to read it eventually. It's going to happen. Promise. This is just a standalone book that I'm excited to read. I found it at Barnes & Noble last year, thought it sounded very interesting, and I wanted to pick it up. It's called My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell, and from my understanding, it is about a teenage girl that gets into a relationship with one of her teachers. And a lot of people have said that it's not like super explicit, that it does a really good job of portraying such a dark subject in a non-exploitive way. And I've heard some really good things about it. And I like darker stuff. I like books about darker topics. I don't get scared away from them. I quite enjoy them. So I'm really excited to read this book this year. And I hope I like it. But going off of that into me liking darker stuff, this next book is quite possibly going to be controversial because a lot of people either hate it or they love it. I have heard mixed reviews on both ends, and what people tell me is that this book is not for the faint of heart. So who knows what I could be getting myself into. Bought this book like in fall, maybe end of summer last year. The book I'm talking about is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, and this book is very controversial. I've heard so many people say that it is very descriptive, it's very detailed. Some people have said it's disturbing and obviously very triggering. But all I'm going to say about this book is I think I might have a very different take on it than most people that I have seen reading this. I could be naive. I don't know. But nonetheless, I'm going to read this book this year. If I don't read anything else this year, it will be this book. I am holding myself accountable. This book will be read before the end of 2023. And some other books that I am super excited to read this year that are new releases, that will be new releases this year, that I obviously don't have physical copies of yet because most of them haven't even been released yet. This book I have on this list is Happy Place by Emily Henry. The second book I have on this list is One of Us is Back by Karen M. McManus, which is the third book in the One of Us is Lying series. Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score, which is the second book to Things We Never Got Over, which got released in 2022. The next book I have on the list is Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood. Next book I have on the list is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I heard that she is very good. A lot of people are comparing her to Christina Lauren. I'm really excited to read her new book. I still have to read Every Summer After. That should be another book that I read this year. Adding that to the list for this year. Every Summer After, I'm going to read it this year. Next new release I'm excited to read is Page Boy by Elliot Page. I really love when celebrities write memoirs or anything about their life. I just love when celebrities write books. The next new release that I want to read this year is Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey, Hello Stranger by Catherine Center, What Happens After Midnight by K.L. Walter, and Begin Again by Emma Lord. I'm sure there are many more books that are going to be released this year, or even some that I have missed, but those are new releases that I know of that will be coming out this year that I'm excited to read. So this next portion of the video is not really books that like specific books that I'm excited to read this year, but more so just authors that I either want to start reading because I've heard their names over and over again and I just want to see what the hype is about, and some mixed in with some authors that I've read like maybe 1 or 2 books of theirs. I enjoyed them and I want to keep reading more from them. First author I have is Megan Quinn. I hear her name everywhere. Her books are all over Kindle Unlimited and I want to try one out. Sally Hepworth. Last year in the beginning of 2022, I read The Mother-in-Law. I thought that it was really, really good. The author I have on this list is Christina Lauren. Like I said earlier, I have read one of their books. I read Love and Other Words, which is probably one of their most popular books. I don't normally cry at books, but when I read this book, I cried a lot. And I don't know what it was about that book, but something drew me in and I loved it, every single bit of it. And I really love it when co-authors can write so well together. So I really want to try to read more of their books. I think I actually have like 3, maybe 4 of their books sitting on my bookshelf right now. Next author I have on this list, oh my god. The next author I have on this list is Riley Sager. I've heard so many good things about him. A lot of people that I've heard talk about him are saying that he is like the king of thriller. Don't know if that's true, but I hear his name everywhere. He has a lot of books. Every bookstore I go into, he has like a whole section dedicated to him, and really want to give him a try, and because I like thrillers. Can never go wrong with a good thriller. The author I have on this list is Madeline Miller, and I mainly put her on here as an author instead of like her books, mainly because there are 2 books specifically that I want to read that are quite popular, which is Song of Achilles and Circe. I see them all the time. A lot of people really love them. Greek mythology is very interesting to me. Taylor Jenkins Reid. So many people love her. I read one of her books in 2022. That was One True Loves. The next author I have mixed feelings about. The author is Sally Rooney. I've heard that she's one of those authors that if you can't get into one of her books, then you are most likely not going to get into any of her books, because she has a very unique writing style. And that scares me a little bit. I'm still trying to determine which one of her books I should start out with. I don't know which one to start with first, because if I don't like her writing style, I'm scared that I won't like the rest. The next author I have on the list is Allie Hazelwood. Like I said earlier, I've read a few of her books already. I thoroughly enjoy her. It's just like a light, easy read, and I want to read more of her books. I have them all shelved on my Kindle, just ready to go. The next author I have on the list is Lucy Score. I read 2 of her books last year. I read Things We Never Got Over, and I read By a Thread. The next author I have on the list is Lucy Foley. I read 1 book by Lucy Foley. It was The Guest List. The Guest List was talked about by so many people, and I mean, it was a good book. I didn't love it. So I want to give Lucy Foley another chance, because so many people talk about her. Like Riley Sager, her books are everywhere at every bookstore I go to. So I want to give her another chance. Just pick up another one of her books these days and just roll with it. The last author I have on the list is Colleen Hoover. I've read multiple of her books in 2022. That's when I discovered her. I understand that Colleen Hoover is a controversial author, but I overall just enjoy her books. They're easy to read and they're usually quick reads for me, so I'm excited to read some more from her. I have quite a few of her books shelved that I did not get around to reading. And just for reference, guys, those books that I showed you are not all the books on my TBR. I have bought all of these books last year that are on my physical TBR. So I have plenty to read this year. I forgot to talk about Breathless. I heard some good things about that. This is my Colleen Hoover backlog. I have not read any of these yet, so that's a goal. My Christina Lauren backlog, I've got 3 of them. There's Every Summer After, just waiting for me. Tessa Bailey's It Happened One Summer, Hook, Line, and Sinker. I haven't read those yet. I did read The Kiss Quotient, which is the first one in this series. I have not read either of these yet. There's Lucy Score, just waiting for me. I got some Taylor Jenkins Reid waiting. Let's see, I got some Sally Hepworth over here. Got lots of books to read this year. Got Nicholas Sparks' newest release from last year, and then Tom Felton's book last year that he released that I have not read yet. Then They Both Die at the End, and I just got the new book, the prequel, The First to Die at the End, I think it's what it's called. I got that for Christmas. That's still packed away somewhere. These books right here, those are mainly my partner's books. That's his small TBR. And I was gonna read this one for Christmas, and then I found out after I bought it that it was the second one, so I never read it. And I forgot to talk about this one. I read the first 2 in 2022 and absolutely loved them, so I finally bought the 3rd book, and I'm going to read that this year. Well, actually, hopefully really soon, because I want to finish it. And yeah, this isn't even all of my books that are on my TBR. I have so many more books that I have bought or people have gifted me, or just books that I have collected over the years that are just put away in boxes. Because I've been collecting books for a long time, and I need to display them all. So that'll happen eventually, but until then, I've got plenty to read for this year. But all that being said, that's all the books I'm going to be talking about today. That was actually quite a few books. So like I said, I have plenty to read. Not only am I hoping to hold myself accountable by actually reading these books this year, I'm hoping that I'm also going to be holding myself accountable for getting back into making videos. I disappeared off the internet for a very long time. I'm excited nonetheless. I have a feeling that 2023 is going to be a good year, and I usually don't say stuff like that. But 23 is my lucky number, so let's see what happens. Let's get some good reads this year. Also, going off of that, you guys should follow me on Goodreads if you want to keep up to date with what I'm reading as I'm reading it. I was very active on Goodreads last year. Like I said, I read 62 books. I was very proud of myself for that. I'm going to try to read even more this year. Yeah, follow me on Goodreads. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a super good day and that you guys read something really good this year. I need to go edit this video now and get it up as soon as possible. Better late than never. Every time that I wanted to film or I had time to film, my asthma told me no and just decided to put me in a lot of pain. So I woke up with a good day and I'm taking advantage of it and filming this video and getting it out there. I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye.